heartbreak, anger, grief, shame. It's a numbness. I can't evoke the sensations that they must be feeling, and frankly, no way to imagine what they're going through.
Afghanistan always breaks your heart. It's chilling to see those images, especially sort of bookending 9/11, where some of the most haunting images from New York when the Twin Towers were burning were people, humans, falling out of the sky. And here, almost exactly 20 years later, you have other people clinging to aircraft, American aircraft, falling from the sky as America abandons its longest war. It's so darkly poetic.
I really question my own sanity sometimes in Afghanistan.
My name is Graeme Smith. I'm an author and consultant. I spent most of my professional life in Afghanistan. The Taliban could not have won without support from a huge section of the population in Afghanistan. That being said, not everyone supports the Taliban. I mean, I think it's an incredibly divided country. When they took Kandahar city, there were fireworks over the town. Some people were celebrating in the streets, and other people were hiding, fearful for their lives. So yeah, it's incredibly, incredibly divided country. We're just worried about what was going to happen next, hour by hour. Just before this conversation, I was getting updates about what my friend could see outside his window in Kabul and how he was worried about what's happening next. So it's a sort of minute by minute roller coaster of anxiety for everybody involved in Afghanistan.
This is my request not to show my face in the TV. I meet with Graeme Smith. It was 2006 in Kandahar when he needed one fixer. Graeme was one of my best friends in foreigners. Working with foreigners, it is a dangerous work in Afghanistan everywhere. The insurgents or the Taliban don't like those people that they work with foreigners. I want to ask from the Canadian government to help those people who help with you. I will request from them, please not to forget Afghanistan. Help with Afghanistan. Support good people in Afghanistan.
My name is Sarah Chayes, and I used to be a correspondent for National Public Radio. When 9/11 happened, I jumped into the lineup and was sent to Afghanistan, and I ended up staying about a decade. The Afghan government never treated the population like citizens. They treated them like chickens to be plucked. And they would tell me, you know, the Taliban shake us down at night, but the government shakes us down in the daytime. We feel like we're standing, they would say, we're standing on two watermelons. There was, I think, all kinds of willful blindness. I found the most severe among Canadians and non-US NATO allies. And it was, this is a democratic government. We're there to support the democratic government against a nasty Taliban. And that was it. And no one really wanted to hear that the government was at least as much part of the problem as the Taliban were. I think women are going to go back to jail, basically. That means that they will be subject to a lot of abuse, and not only at the hands of the Taliban. So we're not just talking about the Taliban here. We're talking about, you know, a degree of unfreedom for women that is hard for Westerners to contemplate, and that frankly was only really loosened in some of the major metropolitan areas, and for a very few women at that.
In foreign countries, the people think that women are afraid of the Taliban coming back. But these women are not afraid.
The Taliban couldn't have done what they did if they didn't have the support for decades from millions of Afghan women. They were cooking for the Taliban. They were sheltering them. They were the couriers. They were the spies. And so there are some women who will feel okay about what just happened. Now, most of the women I know who are my friends on Facebook live in the cities, and they are terrified because these boys from the districts just came into their neighborhoods with Kalashnikovs, and they don't know what's going to happen next.
I was curious to meet the younger Taliban thinkers. Ammar Zmarak is 35 years old.
We are more progressive than the past generation. When the world gave an opportunity to us to prove ourselves to the world, what we are and what we want, they will be surprised.
When I was filming this documentary, when I sat down with a Taliban leader, he took me aside before the interview and he said, just, you can ask me anything, but don't ask me too many questions about democracy. And I said, sir, I'm going to have to ask you about democracy. But it was clear that that was a sensitive topic for the Taliban. The Taliban are learning on the fly how to operate in the modern world. And some of them had never been on camera before, and they didn't know how a television interview worked. Now, they've never been in the presidential palace before, and they got to figure out how a government works. And they're going to learn on the fly in real time. We're going to see their mistakes, and it's going to be messy sometimes, I'm afraid.